Moving on, I'd like to have a motion to open the meeting to hear persons present. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. If anyone would like to address the Township Committee, kindly come forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and give us what's on your mind.
I'm Dan Williams from One Boundary Oak Lane. I just want to preface by saying I just looked this over. I'm going to read from it, but I noticed a bunch of grammatical errors, so just bear with me. And anything I say with all due respect. So I just want to have that. Anyway, I feel very fortunate to have lived in Mendham, New Jersey for most of my life. Fate has been very kind to me, and I do not take my good fortune for granted. In 1994, I was lucky to have qualified for the purchase of a brand new home in the new affordable housing 12-unit subdivision of the Mountain View development called Mendham Knolls, which was built on the former Pitney Farm property. We have a beautiful piece of property, and it has been a pleasure living there for the past 21 years. Living in Mendham Township, there is rarely a dull moment, and we are not without our flaws and shortcomings. Regardless, my experience in here has been extremely pleasant. As a bonus, I've been able to participate on a small scale in local politics, and that experience has been both educational and enlightening. One thing that I've learned is that often it requires a controversial situation or problem to completely bottom out before this process of recovery can begin. As a member of the Steering Committee for Transparency and Accountability in Government, otherwise known as TAG, I witnessed and participated in the process of replacing the then existing Township Committee with fresh faces. Expecting instant gratification, I was disappointed to find that changes do not necessarily guarantee that things will improve. Hopefully that is a work in progress, and as usual, time will tell. On the positive end, as a member of TAG, I learned how to operate a digital video camera, along with Bob and Michael over there, and which had been generously and thoughtfully provided by fellow TAG member, Brookside legend, Sam Fairchild. And that camera has been used since 2006 to record Township Committee meetings, viewable several times weekly on Mendham TV Channel 22, and always available on demand on the station's website. A little plug for the station. I've even produced a few of those segments myself, unbelievably. I want to be clear that I have nothing but praise, admiration, and utmost respect for everyone who has served or is now serving as a volunteer in our special community. If there is a negative aspect, it is that on occasion, elected committee members are not always in agreement about how best to resolve some of the major issues, making it difficult, if not impossible, to move forward. People are usually driven to volunteerism because they have a specific agenda, and the feeling of being in charge and calling the shots can be very intoxicating, exhilarating, gratifying, which is not bad, and empowering. After all, we're only humans. Sometimes we get carried away. That said, the primary reason for my being here tonight is to speak briefly about affordable housing in Mendham. In reality, what was once a wonderful opportunity for lower-income citizens has in recent years become an unraveling financial nightmare for the 26 homeowners in the Mendham Knolls and corner subdivisions of Mountain View and Drakewood, respectively. In 1994, the projected expenses for homeowners in the Mendham Knolls condominiums described in the original prospectus documents were substantially underestimated and misrepresentative of the actual costs. There were even some significant expenses that were never mentioned, which the homeowners had to cover for the past 21 years, including a defective sprinkler system, fire sprinkler system, with accompanying monitoring service, and a failed sewer plant. From all indications, the need for building a new sewer plant will put each homeowner on the hook for approximately $40,000. Additionally, those of us living in Mendham Knolls have learned that our antiquated and problematic 22-year-old fire sprinkler system will need to be replaced in the not-too-distant future. We have recently obtained a quote of $40,000, an amount that has limited shelf life depending on when the project is actually underway. Presently, I am on fixed income and pay most of my expenses with retirement savings. I suspect that there are others among the 26 homeowners who are in a similar predicament. These unfortunate circumstances forced me to put my one-bedroom apartment up for sale. I listed it with Morris Frank Housing on October 19, 2015, but so far have not had one qualified buyer contact me. The odd and almost ironic part of this whole situation is that because 120 days have lapsed since I announced that I was selling my condo, combined with the fact that there are no qualified applicants on the affordable housing waiting list. I can sell my place to anyone for the amount established by Morris Frank Housing, which is $80,499. Even with the constantly escalating expenses, it's still the best deal in town. Presently, anyone, even if they don't meet the requirements of affordable housing, as long as they can come up with the $80,490 asking price, plus a $500 administrative fee that goes directly to Morris Frank Housing Corporation, can become a homeowner at 1 Boundary Oak Lane. It sounds crazy, but a millionaire like Governor Christie, I'm assuming he's a millionaire, could live in Mendham Knolls for that same price that someone of modest means and who was actually qualified for affordable housing would pay. They paid the same amount. Doesn't matter. Since Governor Christie has effectively put COA, the Council on Affordable Housing, out of business, there is no longer a regulatory agency in New Jersey that has the authority to enforce the rules set forth in the Mount Laurel decision. Additionally, because of the stringent requirements that a prospective buyer for an affordable housing unit must meet in order to be qualified, there is currently not one person on the waiting list, nor have there been for several years now. If those rules are not adjusted to improve the affordable housing resale process, in theory, all 38 of the affordable housing units could eventually be owned by very wealthy yet thoroughly unqualified people. The governor makes no bones about his negative position on affordable housing, and for it to disappear from the Mendham landscape would in all likelihood please him. That's my opinion. In this particular instance, he's beginning to look like a visionary. I do not know what the solution is, but the current process for the resale of affordable homes is seriously flawed, and if it is not rectified, Governor Christie's dream will come true right here in the town that occasionally serves as his home. In closing, because the Township Committee is responsible for overseeing the Morris Frank Housing Corporation, I'm requesting that these issues be discussed with members of Morris Frank Housing, and to please include representatives from all three of the affordable housing communities in that process. And I thank you for your consideration and indulging me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We do have a copy of your letter.
Thank you. Yes, you do.
All right. Does anyone else have any matter they would like to bring up under discussion?
I just wanted to get back what Danny Williams was saying. I think we now have a better handle on how that's supposed to operate over there. And I do hope that as the residents are selling, they remember that their units become market after 30 years. So he has a while to wait on his. But that's not true of all of them. It is kind of distressing that I don't know how it is, but I'm surprised that there's no
Right,
interest
yeah.
in those units. I'm wondering how they we may need to look into how it's advertised so that there is an opportunity for people, because maybe there's just no visibility of so maybe that's something we can talk to Moore's Housing Unit about.
We've had some people call in with
Oh, okay.
interest in affordable housing, but my understanding of what it takes to qualify, that it's a long process, that it's difficult, and, from some of the income levels, in order to qualify.
And that's
very
the
difficult
mismatch he's
between
talking
the
about?
assets and the income levels and so forth.
Yeah.
So this is a program that the government's created, but the malaise of red tape and hurdles that they put make it impossible to move.
Well,
on
it's
it.
really a shame, because
It
when
is.
we built them, I really wanted to have them be rental units. Would have made more sense. Would have cost the town something, but it would have made sense long-term, and we don't have it. I've said enough.
Okay. We'll have to look into that. All right. Is there any other matter that we wish to discuss this night? All right.